Look how much fun you're having right now. Look at all the smiles you've had on your face today. You know, whether you like it or not, you like me. I'm like a fungus that just grows.
You definitely a fungus. I think is definitely the appropriate explanation.
Yeah, we're back. We're here. Get off your phone, okay? We're doing something
I'm tweeting out a photo of your set. Your
Good.
very beautiful professional
you.
set that somehow they let you occupy. This is kind of nice.
It is nice.
I like a mid,
all right,
too.
shut up. Let
I'm
me
going
do
to
the
sit over
proper
here because I like a mid.
all right, yeah, please
a
stay
mid's
over
my
there,
new friend.
okay?
Screw you. I had
Please
enough
stay
of
over
you.
there.
A mid's my guy.
Budding
Shut up. I'm trying to be a professional host over here, all right? Chris Simms, Unbuttoned Podcast. It's a joint collaboration today, okay?
Don't say joint.
I know. It is on the weekend. You better watch out for me, okay? But it is a joint collaboration. PFT PM, your podcast, Chris Simms Unbuttoned. We're kind of doing both. It's like Jay-Z and Kanye. Who do you want to be? I'm Jay-Z. You're Kanye. Cool.
Right.
Let's move on.
You don't get to pick.
Yeah.
You didn't
He's
get
gotta
it.
be
You didn't
Kanye.
get a
I'm not a fan of
choice.
Kanye
Can I be
right
the
now.
Sugar Hill Gang?
Sure.
Okay. That's more in line with my demographic.
Okay, good. That's good. That's a little. This demographic's not listening to this podcast, so don't say those words, okay? But either way, hey, get at me at CSimsQB on Twitter or at Simms Unbuttoned with Instagram. What is all your handles that you want to?
At Pro Football Talk is the only one that anyone
That's
needs.
good. Okay, there we go.
I
We're
thought
good.
these microphones were real.
No.
No. The microphones are real.
Right.
They're just not plugged in.
They're not plugged in.
They're just not turned on.
I got my homie here, Ahmed Fareed.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
I've been practicing in the mirror
Well,
at night.
here's the deal. I
Yeah.
mean, like, Mike, you've known Chris for a long time now, and you said he's growing on you like a fungus. So that
Yes.
is good
I'm
news.
going to see a dermatologist tomorrow. Don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's too rough. That's too rough.
Yeah.
We're just getting to know each other on a podcast.
Yes.
So, yeah, that hasn't been awkward at all, just getting to know each other. What?
Dead serious, though. I'm not even really worried what you think about me, okay? Because I think you like me. Mm-hmm. I've actually been worried about your wife.
Why do you say that?
Because she's probably watches, if she does watch this, she's like, this asshole here can't even say my husband's name right.
No.
What a jerk.
No,
so,
that's
to your wife, what's her name?
No, Kathleen.
Kathleen, I'm very sorry. I'm working on this, and it's going to flow out naturally. I'm 1 for 1 for today.
Yeah, you're rising up her rankings.
Okay, good.
Her
good.
host, her analyst rankings, you're still at like 8. You're getting up there, though.
Good.
You're getting up there. We got a lot to talk about, and as Mike and Chris get uncomfortably close together, if you just do the remaining part of the podcast like that,
It's kind of warm in here already.
there's some stuff.
Fun
There's
stuff
some
today.
stuff that's happened. Some fun, some not so fun. A workout room was destroyed unintentionally by Jihad Ward.
What's the appropriate seating position here?
You gotta get
Do you
used to
cross
it.
your legs here?
You gotta be cool.
Do you do it like this and be studious?
No,
or
that's
do you
like
just go like
NBC
this?
Nightly News. We're not
you can't do that.
okay?
All right. You can stand up randomly, but then that causes a controversy.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, it does.
Let's get into the first bit of news here, and this one's not super pleasant, but it is what people are talking about with the Kansas City Chiefs. And they went through something last year with Kareem Hunt where they cut ties after the domestic incident. Now, Tyreek Hill, we've heard the reports the last couple of weeks coming from the Kansas City Star, allegations of abuse against his 3-year-old son.
No allegations yet, just being investigated. Allegations yet.
Right.
I don't want to get you sued.
Way to clarify.
You're new here.
Right.
Oh, I mean, this is why we have a lawyer on the show with us. But now, out of The Athletic, we do have a story that said, there were some rumblings that even before this investigation, that there were trade rumors, some rumbling of trade rumors. The Chiefs were shopping, according to The Athletic, Tyreek Hill. Does that news surprise you at all, Mike?
Well, it does, but the fact that it's Jay Glazer in one of his Q&A columns for The Athletic putting this out there, that tells me that there is some
realness to it.
And there's, look, I don't know whether they're concerned that Tyreek Hill isn't going to be able to stay on the straight and narrow. He had that horrible history of assaulting his then pregnant girlfriend back in 2014 when he was in college, fell to the 5th round of the draft because of it, or whether they just look at what he wants. And when you look at what some of these receivers are making, and Chris and I are big fans of what Tyreek Hill can do, I think he's the most dangerous non-quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, right.
He may want $20 million a year.
Right.
And they may look at $20 million a year for Tyreek Hill, $30 million plus a year for Patrick Mahomes. We just can't do it. We're going to trust that Mahomes will be Mahomes even without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And if we can get a huge haul in return for him, then let's do it. And look, they traded Marcus Peters last year, and that surprised everybody. So I think Andy Reid has a keen sense of when the time has come to move on from someone, and it sounds like he was reaching that point.
Yeah, I guess, and the other thing, to add to what Andy Reid has done, or does, he is. We've talked about how good Andy Reid is at picking at offensive linemen. His history with receivers is not bad either, whether it was in Philadelphia or in Kansas City. Also lost Chris Conley in free agency, who goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, would it be different? I'll just throw this out there. If they hadn't overpaid Sammy Watkins last year in free agency, Sammy Watkins is making almost Odell Beckham Jr. money, and he's not in his class. But I think, like, at the end of the day, I think the big thing is what you hit on, right? Like, a few weeks ago, it sounds like they were shopping Tyreek Hill. Jay Glazer, for him to say this, he obviously has some information about the situation in general, but it's got to be about money for me. And now, of course,
it was purely football. You don't think it had less to do with Tyreek Hill, the man Tyreek Hill, off the field?
I don't think so.
Money.
Now
unless they know things we don't.
Unless there's things that are going on that we don't. Exactly right. Where they've realized, man, we don't like some of the people he's hanging out with. Listen, I don't know all that stuff, but just from me as a follower of football, it just seems like it's a guy that's asking for some astronomical type of contract, and they were like, whoa, that's ridiculous. We might trade you, get some assets, and we'll figure out a new way to build the receiver position through the draft.
Yeah, and now this investigation changes everything. It changes the whole dynamics of how you look at Tyreek Hill. What they did last year with Kareem Hunt, I feel like they were praised for that, how they handled that, because not every team has been able to handle it and be as decisive
just right away.
as the Chiefs were last year. The Browns did then come in and bring him in 8 games he'll miss of the 2019 season. You wonder how the Chiefs will handle this now going forward in light of what they did last year.
I worry.
And in light of Kareem Hunt then being picked back up, and he's going to be going against the Chiefs at some point.
And look at what happened with Kareem Hunt. If you remember how it unfolded, Chris, the reason the Chiefs cut him is they had asked him what happened. I didn't even leave my room. Right. And then the video comes out proving that he lied to them, and that's why they cut him. The Chiefs, I would assume, at some point in the past few days have spoken to Tyreek Hill and locked in his story. Yeah. What happened? Tell us now. And if he said I didn't do anything, comes out later he did do something, that's all the more reason for them to say, see you later.
Right.
But then they don't have the asset and they don't get anything in return for him. And somebody else after a suspension or before, as the Browns did with Kareem Hunt,
or the Redskins did with Reuben Foster, which it doesn't seem right, honestly, once like proven innocent, that they can reap the benefits of all that.
If he did this, if he's responsible for a broken arm inflicted deliberately on his child, I think he should be banished under the personal conduct policy. That would put him out of football for a full year, and then he could apply for reinstatement. But given his history, you throw this on top of it, and I don't know how you can just say 8 games, 10 games, 12 games. You have to banish him and then force him to prove his way back
I'm with you there, totally. Banishment, if the allegations or anything comes up true from that standpoint. I mean, just from this is another thing. Can you imagine if Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham Jr., and Tyreek Hill were all traded in the same offseason? That's mind-blowing to me there right off the bat. The other thing is, I mean, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes has the chance to be like one of the most special combinations in the history of football. That's where I look at all these things, the trade rumors, the off-the-field issues, where it just could be disrupted. And I don't know if, the value of Tyreek Hill and what he's done for the Kansas City Chiefs can be truly quantified over the last few years. Because it's not just about yards and catches. You and I have talked about this a lot. It's his scare ability, the fear factor that he instills in other teams' defenses and game planning.
Makes everyone around him better.
Right. All of a sudden, Kelsey's wide open over the middle of the field, and Sammy Watkins is running a shallow cross, and nobody's worried about him because there's 3 people running deep with Tyreek Hill, and they're worried about the 70-yard bomb over the post. And, those don't go in the stat book, but they're very important things to what he does for the team.
If they knew a week and a half ago what they know now, unload Tyreek Hill and trade for OBJ.
Oh, my gosh, right? I mean, that would have been amazing.
The team that traded, if they did know about what was happening off the field with Tyreek Hill and they traded, I mean, that's going to ruin a relationship with another team.
Yeah, I'm saying if before any of it happened, because the indication from the Kansas City Star was that something happened last Thursday. So if they had been exploring a trade and had managed to work it out and turned around and picked up Antonio Brown or OBJ, that would have been a great move, especially with this that comes out afterward. And then the new team would be stuck with a potential problem.
All right, next topic.
So there's some questions with the Chiefs, but none with their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. They got their guy. Some teams are out there going to be looking for a quarterback in the draft. Want to get into some pro day news?
Yeah, let's do that.
Dwayne Haskins for Ohio State. There's some hype after the pro day. He's got that big arm. And by the way, I feel like pro days are so overblown. I don't know what you guys think.
You're absolutely right.
Sure.
Because how is your opinion going to change that much? I feel like it's probably more valuable for the guys that Haskins was throwing to, the wide receivers, than it was for him. But he was out there. He still has a strong arm. I'm pleased to report that.
No question.
But there was one team that's maybe talking a little. There's a little hype around one team, and that team has a quarterback, and that team is the Oakland Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders at number 4.
At number 4.
Okay, Mayock makes the point, right? Oh, it was an unbelievable show that Dwayne Haskins put on. First of all, just to talk about that workout, it was pretty damn special. It really was. I mean, Haskins has a special big-time arm, and his ability to kind of show that he was in shape and an athlete, showed that he's a little more twitchy. It was impressive, so I don't think we can overlook that. And his combine performance was horrible. So this kind of thing, where to your point, Ahmed, is that. Did I just say that right there? Good. Okay. that you said it's not always important. Well, in this instance, it was important because I think if he went and had another pro day added to the bad combine, people would have been like, oh, crap, watch out. But as far as the Raiders stuff, I don't know how you feel about this, Mr. Florio, but I think it is total bullshit, smokescreen, trade, bait. I don't buy it. I just don't. Just the way it was said by Mike Mayock and everything, I think they're trying to drive up interest at pick number 4 for somebody to go up there and get a quarterback, whether that's the Giants or whoever it may be, to acquire maybe one more first-round pick this year in the draft.
Or also to convince somebody to go even higher than them, take Haskins and push down the board whoever they want to be there.
Yeah, that
either way, either way.
Somebody
takes Haskins or trades to us so we can take.
Now Nick Bosa or Quentin Williams move to us now to where, yes, exactly right.
Also, Mike Mayock once said the best pro day workout he ever saw from a quarterback was from Jamarcus Russell. So I don't know that I want Mike Mayock praising as a quarterback.
Well, I mean, Jamarcus was special. I mean, as long as he didn't have to actually play quarterback and he could just throw it, he was pretty amazing that way. But, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of other issues to go along with that.
I'm going to read the quote here. He goes, he threw really well. He said to Matt Mayock there over at NBC Sports Bay Area.
Your boy.
My boy. He put on a really great show. I thought his receivers put on a show. That's typical for Ohio State. They did a great job. So I don't think he was like overly praised.
No.
I mean, what else is he going to say? They're usually pretty complimentary if they're going to go on record with saying anything at all.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't overly crazy. But the fact that they're at number 4 and they have Derek Carr, who they're paying $25 million plus to, and they've told us he's a franchise guy and all that stuff.
They
told us he was
someone else's franchise
guy. Maybe
guy.
that's what they mean. But either way,
guy.
It's still news, and I'm glad we got to talk about it a little.
And Ahmed, my position is that Derek Carr is going to be the guy that screws everything up with Antonio Brown. He's going to take the fall, and he'll be gone by next year.
Oh, no, didn't you see the Instagram video, though, where they came together and they're like, bro, what up, bro?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I'm glad to be here, bro.
Yeah,
and then they
bro.
stare at each other again and then hug each other.
A little awkward.
I don't know what to say anymore.
Hey, bro, why'd you throw the ball so far over my head, bro? That's what it's going to be in September.
It could be interesting.
Well, I do feel like from being there, Derek Carr does have the respect of a lot of those guys, and that he's anti-Chris, does not swear. He really does not swear.
But you
can
swear around him, because I've sworn around him, and he's like, oh, it's okay for you. So he's
okay
cool
with that. Yeah.
Right.
So it will be interesting
You swear around everybody. You would swear around God. God could show up right now and sit on this couch, and you'd say, what's up?
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, I mean, if God's going to say that to me, he's just going to judge me by some words. I think God's smart enough to know there's actions out there that might prove me worthy.
He created the world that created the word.
Right.
Or unworthy.
Or unworthy.
What about another quarterback? There's another pro day out there.
God's a pretty good guy.
Will Grier, who, Chris, you've been down on. Because there's some people that think he could maybe sneak into the bottom of the first round.
Are you just, well, that's insane, okay?
Why?
Whoever's thinking that he could sneak into the end of the first round, I mean, maybe Mike Florio's wishing that'll happen because it's his West Virginia homeboy there. Yeah. But no.
Is that true?
Will Grier is not in the stratosphere of the big 3, let's say. No, definitely not in Kyler Murray's stratosphere and not Drew Lock or Dwayne Haskins either. There's things to like about Will Grier, but I really think he is a middle-of-the-draft type of talent. And that doesn't always please me. And I'm probably going to have some updates to my quarterback rankings coming here real soon. But either way, I feel very confident in that stance. I think he's viewed pretty much throughout the league along that way. Doesn't mean he can't develop a little bit more and prove some of the things he has throwing the football. But yes, as for my breakdown, things I've seen on film, no, he does not classify as an end of the first round talent.
It's so hard to properly assess a Big 12 quarterback
It is.
because you don't know
Right.
how his skill set projects to the next level because he'll actually face real defensive backfield talent.
Real
at the next
game
level.
plans, right?
All due respect to the Big 12 defenses, but we know they're not very good.
No, they're not.
I just hope that Will Grier doesn't go number 42. That's the kiss of death. Oliver Luck went number 42. His career went nowhere. Pat White went number 42. And once he got hit one time by Ike Taylor, he was done.
Damn, so 42, that's good research.
I gotta look up who has the 42nd pick now. Do you have any idea who has the 42nd?
I don't know that.
Pick? Wait, yeah, we should know this, but I don't.
So there was a report.
This only goes to 32.
The Bengals?
Would it be the Bengals? They have the 10th pick, and 32 plus 10 is 42.
Yep, so
unless they
or is it Denver? Denver has a 10th pick.
Denver. Well, you know what? But then they reshuffle it if teams have the same record. So we can do research in real time.
What do you think about the story the Patriots are maybe poking around looking for a backup? I mean, eventually,
yes,
they have to find Tom Brady again.
Yeah, well, they tried to
find the next Tom Brady.
Yeah, they do. The Bengals do have 42nd. Somebody just confirmed in my ears, so that's good.
Wow, nice.
But either way, with the New England Patriots, hey, listen, they tried to find their replacement a few years ago. You know, when Tom Brady wasn't playing at his absolute best, they thought, okay, the time might be coming. Let's draft a Jimmy Garoppolo. Then really Brady kind of had a resurgence and has played better the last few years, I would argue, than he did in the years of 2011, 12, and 13.
What year did they draft Garoppolo?
So Garoppolo, I want to say was
2014.
I'm going to say 14.
What
right?
year did he deflate the footballs?
2014.
I don't think he deflated the footballs.
Of course he did. I mean, that's not even a debate. I mean, the balls were deflated and the Colts weren't. So that just says it right there. But either way, that's a subject for another time. Okay.
Yeah, we'll hash this out one of these days.
There's a lot of other things I can go into that subject.
The thing about the Patriots, though, I'm looking at the sheet, number
Mm-hmm.
32. That's a great spot on mid to draft a quarterback because it's the last pick in round 1 and you get him for 5 years. And either they take a quarterback in that spot or they trade out to somebody who wants a quarterback in that spot.
It is a
just
great
like the
spot.
Ravens did last year.
Wow.
The Vikings did it with Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
That's the place to trade into to get a quarterback.
But who is the guy they're looking for? That's going to be the million-dollar question. I mean, I don't think it's a Will Grier, just so you know, just to hammer that home down one more time.
You have him 8th.
Ryan,
you have Will Grier 8th.
Ryan Finley, I think, could be in that discussion. I like Jared Stidham a little bit. I'm not sure if he's totally their guy. Yeah. You know, the other guy that you got to watch out for is Clayton Thorson. When you go back and watch his his junior year film before he tore his ACL, I know there's teams that are intrigued by what he did before the ACL.
The Gilligan's Island guy.
He's the
Clayton Thorson III, yeah.
Right, so exactly. So he's a guy I do think intrigues teams. But, hey, the Patriots, who knows what they're going to do? None of us know. And I'm not sure if there's a guy that's going to fit what they actually want at 32.
I want to get into another quarterback that you're actually higher on than in the draft than Will Grier. But first, we got a little.
I got to pay the PFT PM bills. We have a very, very high budget for PFT PM, so we have to, from time to time, take a pause.
Okay.
And I have to read this word for word, or we don't get paid.
Can we sing at the end?
You kind of ruined the surprise by saying that, though. But here we go. This is a message from our friends.
Do you think that people that know go, oh, I know what's coming?
Can
now,
I do this?
He just said that.
You've ruined it, and I will now turn off the pipe.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. When you want expert advice, you go to a pro. Some folks consider me a pro at the NFL.
Not at reading.
But I also love cigars. And as a cigar pro, although I'm more of a cigar amateur, although mine are filled with tobacco, here's my cigar advice. If you're going to have cigars in your house, you got to have a humidor, and you got to have a good humidor, and ideally you got to have a humidor that is electronically controlled, because otherwise, if you have cigars in there for any period of time, you're going to pull one out, you're going to bite on the end, and the wrapper's going to come completely off, and it's going to be a big mess, and you're wasting your money, especially if you're buying good cigars. That's my cigar advice. Right. I don't know if do you keep your cigars in a humidor?
I don't.
You hand roll them
freshly rolled. Yes.
Part of the read?
Yes, it is. And by the way, when you're looking for pro tips on vehicle maintenance or repair, look no further than O'Reilly Auto Parts. When it comes to replacing your battery, getting advice on proper car maintenance, or even just getting the best bang for your buck, their expert team can help you out every step of the way. I don't know whether I'm nearsighted or farsighted. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Right. You're not
End of read.
I don't think you're not getting paid for that. I don't know.
I think I'm going to have to pay them.
Kids can't even
They're going to
read.
send me an invoice for that.
Today, Junior.
We didn't help with that either.
Holy
I don't feel like
cow.
So,
O'Reilly.
oh, that was a good shot.
That was a good shot. He got me. It's like, it almost wanted to say ow, actually.
Swear. All right, so you're down on Will Grier. You're a little higher now on Dwayne Haskins than maybe after the combine. His pro day helped.
It really
him a little
helped.
bit.
It definitely did.
Drew Lock. Lock.
Yes.
So he had a pro day.
Right.
And he's holding a workout with the Broncos.
Yep.
Coming up here, so some teams are interested. You're much higher on Drew Lock.
Well, then much higher than what? What are you telling me I'm much higher than Drew Lock?
You have him 2.
Yes, I have him 2. I am slightly above Dwayne Haskins.
I would say most people have Haskins above Lock.
No question. No doubt about that. Now, I know this, just to throw this out there, okay? I know there's teams that have Drew Lock ahead of Dwayne Haskins. I know this. So I'm not like crazy with this. I think it is very close. Drew Lock is a natural slinger, thrower of the football. You know, a guy that I would say is a lot like a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers, where you just go, man, the guy was put on earth to just sling the ball around the field. Now, when it came to his pro day today, which I watched pretty closely, we were in a meeting, but I had it on my computer. I was live streaming it, watching it. I did not think it was his best workout I've ever seen. I mean, honestly, you know, I don't want to say concerning, but there was things I saw that will make me go back and do another dive just to go, you know, do I see more of this than what I see in the workout?
Like what?
On film?
What exactly can stick out at a pro
Yeah,
day
well, okay, the first thing is,
you?
technically, the first thing I did not like, he lets his front shoulder get open. I taught you about the front shoulder, right, at the combine, right? So I'm just going to stand up real quick, okay? I'm a lefty, okay, so everybody, but if I was to throw the ball here, okay, I want to be here and then turn into the throw to gear up to throw it. Too many times he stayed open like this, okay? When you do that, you're just not going to create power. He missed some throws in the workout and threw some wobblers that I didn't really see him throw on film. I think he tried to be a little too technical. I think, honestly, maybe he got coached to go be a little bit more over the top, a more traditional, where he is a little bit more slingy, sidearm-ish looking, three-quarter like a Mahomes or a Stafford. I would say to anybody who's coaching him out there, don't. He's a natural what he does. Kyler Murray is going to be in the NFL, and even if he went to his highest point, it's not going to be at the same point where Drew Lock throws the ball at three-quarters, if that makes sense to you. But either way, I did not think it was a great workout for Lock.
Wouldn't that be something, if you did see that front shoulder, right? Wouldn't that, if you're a team that likes him, wouldn't you say, wow, he's been pretty successful even with this flaw in his mechanics, and if we can fix that, then he'll be even better.
I think there is definitely something to that. If you break him down on film, there's some rawness to his game. You know, it's not always the perfect feet, the perfect upper body position. He's a very good athlete. He's amazing at throwing with people around him, just like Dwayne Haskins. He's fearless in the pocket. He can throw off his back foot. He can throw falling away, running to his left, fading away. But yeah, when people see that there's little things to work on and get better, a lot of the times it makes them feel better because they go, oh, no, there's areas to grow here. I can fix this aspect of his game, just like a great defensive end.
Let me ask you this, though. Yeah. How much of a quarterback's mechanics after he's finished college, played in high school, played his whole life, how much can you really fix? How much of it can you change? Because I remember when Tim Tebow was trying to change his throwing motion, it all goes back to muscle memory when you're out in the middle of it.
No doubt.
How much can you really, what percentage, what thing, give me one specific thing that you think can change with repetition, with teaching, once a guy's got his habits baked in?
Yeah, you can change them. It takes 2,500 reps, all right? Something along those lines to start making it a actual memorized, learned body
So when you're out
motion.
there and you got all those guys chasing you around, you don't slip back into everything you've always done.
You could if you're not really concise about starting pretty quickly after the season's over. To by the time you get to August or July in training camp, now when you revert to I'm just going to go play football, the new motion you had or the tweaks you have will stand the test of time.
Feels like it's going to take more than 2,500 reps.
Yeah,
to do that.
it might. It might be 25, but I think that's the base thing to learn the new motor function, the 2,500 something throws. But either way, you can change those type of things. The one thing you can change is like arm angle, right? And this is something I saw with Drew Lock today. All the great quarterbacks, their arm angle never changes from this right here. You know, they might throw it sidearm, but the angle never breaks of the arm. Rodgers, Brady, you go through the list, all the best throwers do that. What Tim Tebow used to do is he would let it break like this. And it's just not always easy to match it up perfectly back at the release point and the perfect spot every time when you've let it go like this. It's like a golfer who will just like, oh, I'm going to swing it around and go back to the perfect point every time. No, you're not. There's a technique to keep it in that same sweet spot all the time.
And the longer it takes you to get it back to your loading position, you're just giving the defensive back a clue. Hey, he's getting ready to throw it.
Exactly right. So, but that is something I saw with Drew Lock today. Lock is usually very good, tight. I thought he tried to be too quarterback mechanical and I'm going to throw it over the top. And within doing that, he let his arm angle break a little bit. But, yes, you can fix some of these things. There's not a lot of people in football that know diddly shit about throwing the football, though. That's the other thing that people don't realize. I was never taught one thing by a coach in the NFL about my mechanics. They just said, damn, you could throw it, just keep doing what you're doing. And that was it. But
do you think that's because they didn't know, or it's because they didn't want to mess with it?
No, I think a majority of them really don't know. Again, I'll go back to like what Gary Player is. You beat me in 18 holes, then I'll listen to some advice and techniques you got. You know, a lot of the times these quarterback coaches, they can't throw themselves. So how the hell are you going to teach me something to throw when you can't throw at all yourself? That is what I would say there.
Real quick, do you still have them above Haskins?
Yes, but it is very close. Okay. And it's, again, like I told you, I will go back and do a re-ranking where I have acquired even more film, cut-ups, things like that, where I'll make a final determination here in the next week or two. But I think it is close.
Mike, you have to leave us in like 4 minutes.
Yes, the countdown is on.
Is there anything on this sheet that you're dying to talk about before we let you go?
Absolutely. The final topic is very important.
So does the joint collaboration end when you leave, or are you going to put the rest of me on your podcast?
God, you know, I don't know that I want to subject my podcast audience to you without me here to like make sure that you're properly restricted and limited in what you say.
Yeah, well, you're not going to restrict me anyways. So it's
well,
okay.
I know, but at least I can try to clean up the mess after the fact.
Okay.
So this is what I learned today. We had a big football summit. We had Roto World in. We had a lot of the football insiders from our regional networks all across the country. And Mike was up there talking with Mike Tirico. And what I learned about Mike, and you guys already know this, but I learned, huge Kiss fan. Has been to over 1,000 concerts in his life.
No, you rounded up. 8. Close.
8, okay. 8. But I thought it was interesting. You've really from an early age you've been a fan of
There was
Kiss.
something about, I was 10, 11 years old. There was something about, and I remember they were on the Paul Lynde Halloween special, and you can still find it on YouTube. Paul Lynde was this whiny comedian back in the 70s. He'd be on game shows. And he had a Halloween special, and they had Kiss on there, and they did 3 songs, and it was the makeup, it was the fire, it was just everything about it. It was so much more polished and theatrical than just like a guy in a ratty T-shirt with a scraggly beard, had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And it just resonated. When you're 10, 11 years old, there was just something about it. It's like, wow, I want to see more of this. And I got one of their albums and, listened to it nonstop, and then saw they were coming to Pittsburgh, and this was 1979. Went to one of their shows, and it's like, this is just amazing. This is awesome. And that was a time when you couldn't get any of this stuff on TV. You couldn't buy videotapes and CDs and download stuff. So you had to basically go experience, or you were never going to see it. Now they're on tour for their most recent, I think it's their 15th annual concert. 15th annual farewell tour. I saw them on a farewell tour in 2001.
Yes.
So here we are 18 years later, and they're on farewell tour again. But like, you go to YouTube and you can see the entire set that they're doing, Sea to Shining Sea. So it's not as special as it was, but I just feel like I need to go one more time. They can barely move now. Well, Paul Stanley, the lead singer, his voice is shot, and they think he's lip syncing. So
what will you do? Like, are you gonna be there, being like, rock on?
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah.
I'll smile and I'll do some head bobbing.
Head bobbing.
Yeah. We got 6. We're in the 6th row. Our wife is going.
Right.
We're in the 6th row.
If you're just walking around and Detroit Rock City comes on, you hear it. What do you do? How do you react? When
I just smile. I smile.
By the way, that was what I was going to ask you. I'm embarrassed to say this.
You don't know any of their songs?
No, I don't know any of their songs.
You don't know Rock and Roll All Night?
Well, you might have to say, I'm going to rock and roll all night.
And party every day.
Know that one.
Yeah, okay, that's it. That's enough. That's their iconic song.
Gotcha.
We got a little Detroit Rock City getting pumped in.
There we go.
You familiar with Detroit Rock City? Let me tell you a funny story.
I don't know this.
The second time I saw Kiss, this was 1980. This was on their Dynasty tour. After the show, my sister took me and 2 of my friends to go see it. We're 14, 15 years old. And they always, at the end of the show, they come out with like towels because they wipe off their sweat and they throw them out into the crowd. And we're driving by and there's a kid and he's holding up this towel. And he's like, Ace Frehley, touch this towel. Ace Frehley, touch this towel. And one of my buddies took off his T-shirt and he hung out the window, the Volkswagen Beetle. Gene Simmons wiped his ass with this shirt. And he's shouting it over and over again. They were 14.
Yeah.
And my sister didn't know what to say. It was great.
They took it. Well, that's
on that note,
I learned something.
On that note,
we say thank
Chris
you
Simms
to
wiped his
Mike
ass
Florio.
with this jacket.
We say thank you to Mike Florio, the author of Quarterback of the Future.
God, get rid of that.
Quarterback of the future. there on
Chris would read it if he could read later.
So
I
you
definitely
can leave,
wouldn't
Mike.
read that.
Ahmed, I'm out of here. This is very professional, the way I'm making my exit. I'm carrying my equipment.
I'm not getting up for you.
Ahmed, I look forward to the next time we do it. Chris, I don't look forward to anything with you.
See ya.
He has a plane to catch.
Be good.
And
see ya.
He's still mic'd up, so he could badmouth us here, and we might be able.
Don't do any Frank Lieutenant Drebin in the bathroom or anything, okay? Make sure it's off.
Okay, he's gone. What do you really think of Mike?
Oh, I mean, Mike, gosh, Florio's a know-it-all. Thinks he's a lawyer, thinks he's smarter than the rest of us.
You know what? But the thing is, when you have a know-it-all, and then they actually know it all, it's kind of justified.
Oh, he saves my butt on this show daily. Like, when we start getting into CBA talks and lawyer talk and legal issues, I literally have to just interview him and shut up and be like, what does this mean, Mike? I don't even understand it.
Well, he saved me at the top of this podcast from getting arrested when we were talking about Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs and all the allegations as opposed to investigations. I owe him my life.
He's good at that.
A couple more things here that happened in the news over the weekend. Did you see the thing with Jihad Ward?
I did. I mean,
so he was in the Colts facility.
Right.
The defensive lineman, and he had the big medicine ball. We're showing it on our YouTube.
See it on YouTube.
On YouTube right now.
Man,
and
a lefty too.
And a lefty, and he goes into the wall and creates a huge hole in that wall. And then immediately, my favorite part is he immediately turns around and he's like, "Oh, what have I done?"
Oh, I know. He's so worried. Like, hey, it just tells you about the respect factor in the NFL locker room right there. Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, sir, we have to cut you
I'm sorry. I'm so freaking strong. I can throw a 30-pound medicine ball really fast from 10 yards away. I mean, again, this goes into NFL defensive linemen. They're the type of people you just don't even want to mess around. You know how I like to hit you and mess around like that?
Yeah.
You can't even play those games with NFL defensive linemen. Because when they hit you back, you're like, oh, okay, forget it. That hurts.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
They're freaky. I played with a guy in Casey Hampton at the University of Texas. Some of the things I saw in a weight room at times.
Yeah.
He power cleaned 420 pounds one day to break the school record. And not only was that impressive, but he got so excited that we were all watching him and that he broke this, that he then went from the power clean and started to press it over his head and almost locked out. So that just tells you, I just given you some of the freak of nature things I have seen in my life, let alone, let me just tell you something about Brandon Marshall. I mean, you want to talk about a freak of nature in his own right, too, at the wide receiver position. First time I'm playing with him in Denver Broncos. Brandon Marshall is one of those guys, and I don't know if you've ever seen him in person.
I have not.
But if you saw him in person, you'd go, holy crap, you're Brandon Marshall? Like, no wonder nobody could tackle you all these years.
Because it's like they're super fast, super athletic, and then they are a giant.
A giant. Got legs that we talk about, that we envy, or at least that I talk about.
Yeah.
He's got shoulders like Dwight Howard. You're like, damn, you're an NFL receiver.
Right.
But he would go in the weight room, and like in the weight room, most guys go in and warm up with like 135 pounds, right? Which is like if you're going to bench press. The bar is 45 pounds, the two plates are 45 pounds. Let's just start there and get things moving. Brandon Marshall, at like a 225-pound receiver, would come in the weight room and just throw 225 on right off the bat. Like what people are working out at the combine and just be like, all right, I'm going to get loose, guys. Oh, yeah, okay. And
That's his warm-up. His warm-up is 225.
He would be bouncing it off his chest and having a conversation. Hey, what do you think about that play today? And I'd be sitting there like spotting him, not having to do anything. Like, is this guy kidding me? Like,
But he goes, I'm going to start my workout right after this, right after I throw this up 30 times.
No questions.
Oh, speaking of that, speaking of the bench pressing 30 times, Notre Dame punter, Tyler Newsome. Did you see that story?
I did see it.
At the pro day. It's a punter. You know, he's a built guy. You know, I mean, you've
punters can be extremely athletic.
Can be very strong. We're showing video right now. 30 reps for him. And I believe there were...
I think he's like 13th, maybe, of the combine.
Yeah, like might have been
somewhere in that range.
12 players, and 11 of them were either offensive or defensive linemen.
Very impressive.
And we just had a punter throw up 225 30 times.
I've been around some punters who are phenomenal athletes. The Colquitt brothers, Dustin and Britton. I mean, I was with Britton in Denver. He's one of the better athletes on the football team. I played with a Tom Tupa back in the day with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who could dunk, could throw a football 80 yards. I mean, they're not just like kickers or, you know, some wussies that are just out there because they can kick. A lot of them are very good athletes. That was really impressive. Now, I don't know if all those bench press reps would have counted at the combine. I don't know if there was full lockout there, but either way, you know I'm a stickler. Yes, I'm not going to give him a free pass, okay?
Because there could be bounce on the back end.
Could have been bounce on the back end, and it looked like a lot of them were like here instead of here, right? So I know I'm not trying to be a jerk, Mr. Punter from Notre Dame.
Kind of being a jerk.
I am.
Kind of, yeah. You know, still, that's pretty impressive.
It is.
As far as his, NFL prospects, there were a lot of punters drafted. What, last year? We had 4 punters drafted.
There was. I believe it was 3 or 4.
He was a little inconsistent at Notre Dame, but he can bench press 225 30 times.
He'll have that. He'll dominate on the pec deck.
How about there's stuff that happens, away from the field. There's stuff that happens on the field. The Cowboys' Tyrone Crawford. There was a bar fight incident.
Yes.
For him. I actually haven't seen the video. The video's out there.
I haven't seen it either.
I believe the video is out there, and that's how the story has kind of gotten out there. And it does kind of, it does shock me and it doesn't shock me that you have players with a lot on the line, a lot of money on the line. They put a lot of work to do a whole, to get this spot in the NFL, and then keeping the spot in the NFL, as you know, is just as hard as getting there into the NFL. And then to kind of put it in jeopardy because of things you may do off the field or situations you may get yourself in at a bar. I feel like
do we know how it broke out, the fight?
I don't.
We don't know the details of it, really.
We need
to
bring Mike back because he's probably as we navigate through this.
I don't think he knows this either. This is why I wanted to bring this up on the podcast because nobody seemed to know the details of it. Only thing I could say is this: with a guy like Tyrone Crawford, who I've seen in person many times, you better have a freaking horde of men to take him on.
Yes.
Because the normal man walking around the streets is not going to take on Tyrone Crawford. 6'4",
correct.
285, 290. I believe it was 3 guys he was involved with in this fight.
So TMZ is saying he was brawling inside a Florida bar, destroying several giant security guys, is the verbiage they use here on TMZ. So yeah, it seems like it was inside, and maybe it flowed outside after that. But he's fighting off everything.
Why would you even mess with these guys? That's what and maybe he did something where they tried to get him out there. But I'm just telling the public or anybody out there, beware fighting an NFL football player.
It's not fun.
No, beware. I mean, a lot of football players, they live for physical contact. They actually are getting paid for it. So they're not going to be too concerned about getting in a fight. And especially a guy like Tyrone Crawford, who is built like a tree trunk. And, I mean, I almost got into a fight once in the locker room. Dave Ball, at the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
He was throwing snowballs around the locker room. He almost gave somebody like a concussion. He almost hit somebody in the head. And I yelled like, F you, stop doing that shit. Let's get ready for practice.
Yeah.
He wanted to fight me, right? He wanted to fight me. And I was like, no, I'm not fighting you. And he's like, why? Why won't you fight me? And I was like, because you're 280 and you're going to kick my ass.
It's a bad idea.
So I just was real with him. And the locker room, honestly, laughed because they're like, oh, yeah, Simms using that reverse psychology on him. But I knew I wanted no part of that fight. I know where I stand in the world. I saw Sean Rogers, another defensive tackle I played with at the University of Texas, a huge man, 6'4", 325, 330 pounds. We're at the club in Austin, Texas one night, okay? And I'm viewing this. I'm on a balcony watching a few of my friends who are just a few feet below me, but some girl comes and talks to Sean Rogers. And he talks to her, and he's a really polite, good guy. Yeah. He's not a fighter. He wasn't a mean guy. He's not like that. But he talks to her. She walks away. A few minutes later, the boyfriend comes over and gets in his face. And the guy wasn't small. I'm going to say the guy was 6 foot, 6'1". He was a little hefty. I'm going to say he was 230, 245.
Sean still dwarfs him.
Sean still dwarfs him at 6'5", 330. And Sean tries to diffuse I'm sorry. Hey, she came and talked to me, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. And the guy walked away. But then a few minutes later, he walked back and got in his face. And, was egging the fight on to where he gives him a little shove. And Sean Rogers, who was a lefty, he cocks back with his left arm. And he connected. And I'm telling you, we saw video game. I was on the balcony. The guy literally flew 10 feet in the air. Right. And what happens when it's all said and done? Sean Rogers is the one that gets in trouble with the police, even though he tried to defuse the situation. You know, the guy wants to come back and press charges at him and all that.
To that.
And that's what happens with football sometimes. And I don't know if this happened there.
We don't know.
Just either way, I was giving a story of what can happen, and don't mess with big NFL defensive linemen.
Bad idea.
Bad idea.
You'll probably end up on the ground at some point.
Pretty much. Unless you're a UFC heavyweight fighter, you're in trouble.
I'm sympathetic to that, too, because sometimes it's just tough guys. You know, tough guys want to prove they're tough.
That's what this was that night.
After a couple drinks.
This guy was tough guy who got beer muscles.
Right.
And I wanted to go, no, you need more than beer muscles. You need an army of guys with you as well to take on this one.
You need you and 85 of your closest friends.
Pretty much.
You know, have you got any feedback on? We got the NCAA tournament going on right now.
Right.
My bracket already busted. No games yet so far, but bracket's already busted.
Yep.
We threw this out to you guys on Twitter, and we thank you for responding and voting, picking our matchups, picking the seeds they thought were too high, the ones they thought were too low. As far as the voting is concerned, Chris, it looks like our audience went with chalk. Patriots moving on as the 1 seed, Steelers moving on as the 8 seed, Browns moving on, although there was some chatter that you were way too high on the Browns with the 4 seed in the AFC. They thought their time has not come yet.
So I got flack for that one?
You got a little flack for the Browns.
I get you. Okay. But that's all right. I'm not surprised by those results right there. We might have had the Steelers a little too low, too. I might have had them there.
We had Steelers 8, Jets 9. Some people thought we had the Steelers too low and the Jets way too high. We thought we're jumping the gun.
The Jets are your department, though, right? Weren't they?
It was the last team that I had left.
Right.
Oh, yeah, but I hadn't picked them previously. Yeah, that was my department.
But either way, so put the blame on you, Ahmed, on that one all the way. But I think other than that, no, I understand these. Hey, again, listen, these aren't power rankings for this season. This was like basically a power ranking bracket to have fun after free agency, really evaluate where teams are. And I hope people will continue to vote and kind of interact with this whole thing. It'll be fun.
The thing is, though, you see that Steelers-Jets matchup.
Yeah.
54% of the audience voted for the Steelers. So that means the Jets
are
46%.
Hey, they got C.J. Mosley, Le'Veon Bell, Kalichi Osemele. I mean, they got some players, Jamison Crowder. So the Jets are going to be better coaching. They're going to be more improved this year. I don't think it's like a stretch that game would be close.
Drew Livingstone on Twitter said, the Bills 14 and the Jets 9, LOL.
Yeah.
That was my department.
That was him. Blame him,
I
send all bad tweets.
You know what? I'll admit I was too low on the Bills.
Yes.
I should have had the Bills higher.
That's okay. Don't worry.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Because when we were doing the podcast, I go, Bills 14, and then I listed a whole bunch of really good things they'd done in the offseason.
Right.
But then I kept them at 14.
Yeah, well, and again, I mean, where they are right now, I don't know, again, in a head-to-head matchup with the Chargers, we're still going to pick the Chargers to beat them, but I don't know where they would have matched up. Okay, so that's the AFC. Are we going over to the NFC,
yeah, so
too?
the NFC, there was some controversy with the NFC, too. Some people didn't like.
They didn't like that I had the Bears 1, probably. I know that.
No, Bears they did not like.
Right.
Rams, and I think there were even some people that thought the Saints could be up there. The two that I saw, the most commented ones in your top seeds are Bears 1, Rams 2, Eagles 3, and then Saints 4. People thought the Eagles were way too high. They think you're clinging on to what the Eagles were and not what they're going to be.
Gosh, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm clinging on to a little bit of both. You mean the Eagles who had the ball and were driving down the field and threw an interception that went right through the hands of Alshon Jeffrey and a game-winning drive to beat the New Orleans Saints? Am I really that crazy there? And then they've added guys like Malik Jackson, Deshaun Jackson, re-signed Brandon Graham. Who else? Vinny Curry. It sounds like they're going to re-sign him today. So, no, I tried to be realistic about what the team was and infusing some of the things that have gone on through free agency. Am I perfect? Certainly no. I know I took a lot of flack from some of my friends about having the Bears 1. But, again, I think the Rams have lost a few players. They lost Roger Saffold. I guess that concerns me a little. And Ndamukong Suh's not there. Yeah, so those things. The Saints. I mean, Max Unger just retired. You got Sheldon Rankins isn't going to be ready to play until who knows what week during the season off for a torn Achilles tendon. They got other issues on the defensive line. So those are the things I took into account, but I appreciate everybody playing along and having fun.
Yeah, in the 8-9 matchup, we did have our only upset picked by our listeners to Unbuttoned. 49ers over the Vikings, 9 over the 8.
I wish Florio was here for that because he loves the Vikings. But I would think we have a pretty strong Bay Area following. I mean,
absolutely.
Between you,
I brought 5 people with me.
I know Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
I mean, I know Gruden, so I would hope the Bay Area would go like, hey, Chris might actually have a clue about these 2 teams.
And so now, and then the 49ers got voted on. And you know what? Against the Bears in that second round, that could be a possible
dangerous.
upset. That's a dangerous 9 seed.
I mean, if I do remember correctly, did they beat the Bears? It was a close game in San Francisco this year, the Bears 49ers, because they played each other this past year. Bears won a close one, right?
It was close, though.
It was close,
It was close.
Right.
Who is your team in college basketball to win it? Did you do a bracket?
I honestly did not do a bracket. Can you believe that? I actually might do it when I still go home because I don't know any results yet other than one game I know. I know Louisville lost. That's the only thing I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's all I know.
If you were to pick a team,
yeah,
which team would you pick? Do you have any idea?
If I were to pick
Duke
a team.
up there, you have North Carolina, you have Gonzaga.
Right.
You have Virginia.
Right. No, I think
Michigan State.
I mean, Michigan State, I do like their style of play. I always root for Tom Izzo. I just like him as a head coach. I think I'm actually, and I can't even believe I'm about to say this, I think I'm a Duke fan right now.
Whoa.
Duke, and I root for Kentucky. My dad's family is all in Kentucky. So I've always grew up where my dad was rooting for Kentucky in this time of the year to where I've kind of become a bandwagon fan that way. My Texas Longhorns aren't in this. So, yeah, I like Duke because I like Zion. So I'm kind of rooting for them, but I usually am not down with Duke.
You're in the same spot I feel like so many other people are in.
It's weird.
They have never rooted for Duke in their life, but then they're like, how do I not root for this player that is like the most awesome player that we've seen in college basketball in a long time?
Right. It's not the usual Duke dorks that are out there this time. So I'm kind of rooting for them.
And Zion seems like a fun, like kind of quirky, cool guy, too, along with being a great basketball player.
Barrett's really good. I mean, he sounds like he's going to be. And everybody keeps saying there's no depth to their team. So it doesn't sound like they're really a favorite. It's like these stars are going to have to ball out for them to win, which I actually kind of like.
I didn't pick Duke. I picked Tennessee to win it.
Okay.
I don't really know why. But the reason I didn't pick Duke is because I felt like
everybody?
Like 90% of people are going to pick Duke this year, I think.
It does seem that way. But like when I listen to Jay Billis, he's always like, the 2 stars need help. And I listen to Jay when it comes to college basketball. And he's like, there's not enough help. There's too much pressure on those 2. So I don't know if they're actually the favorites like in the basketball what do I want to say, professional or.
Maybe just trying to be a little contrarian, you know. A little contrarian for Jay.
Experts, that's what I was saying, basketball expert category.
Basketball experts. So we'll see if we're right at all in the NCAA tournament. You guys can continue to vote on Twitter for our second round matchups in our Simms Unbuttoned NFC and AFC brackets. Let's get some upsets. We'll reveal it next Thursday, what you guys vote. I want some upsets, though. Like Seahawks over the Eagles. Like, I think that's intriguing. Packers maybe over the Rams. Aaron Rodgers over the Rams could happen.
There's definitely some upset. I mean, hey, the Cowboys, we saw them beat the Saints during the regular season. You know, they haven't done a whole lot in free agency there. But, hey, either way, we just want people to be involved. Feel free to continue to call me an idiot or stupid for my rankings. Or I
got a lot of hate.
That way, either way. So we're good.
I got a lot of hate, but much of it was deserved. Where I feel like your hate was not deserved because you were very well reasoned in why you did what you did. But yes. Some of mine, I had no reason for doing what I did, and so that hate was well deserved.
That's okay. I like it anyways.
Okay. All right. Anything else we need to get to?
I think we're good. I can't believe we wasted like 5 minutes talking about Kiss on the Unbuttoned podcast,
well,
but you know it was a collab.
You knew that about Mike already?
I did know that about Mike. Yeah. I got to go back and listen to Kiss because I've never really listened to any of their songs.
Yeah, and then we played the song, right? And we said, what would you do if we played the song? He'd like smile and bob my head.
Bobbed his head, right?
He did bob his head a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
He got into it. That's it.
That's it. We're done.
Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
Hey, Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Thanks for helping out today, man.
At Simms QB. Yep. Chris is tweeting himself. That is himself
Got
tweeting.
People helping me too. I need help, okay? But at Simms Unbuttoned on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you want to watch the show, youtube.com, NBC/NBC Sports. Please check it out. Me and Ahmed are having a good time. I'm choking it off. But have a good weekend, everybody. See Simms saying, peace out. I'm out of here. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Simms Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.